And, I'm Rich Hansen. I'm AMA's Government and Regulatory Affairs Representative. I am extremely honored to be able to be at the mic at this particular moment. For those of you in the Academy, for those of you visiting for today, this is an actual landmark event. We started down this road. Actually, AMA and FAA have had an ongoing relationship for decades. We've always had a liaison. We've always had an open door and a flow of communication between the two organizations. But in about 2008, 2007, 2008, when the advent of introduction of UAS into the civil environment really started gearing up, and the FAA started working on new regulations that would enable this industry and enable the operations of unmanned aircraft to operate safely along manned aviation. We were asked to kind of step up, if you will, step up our role in this effort. We sat on the Aviation Rulemaking Committee in 2008, and we have had an ongoing dialogue with the FAA ever since on trying to develop standards, guidelines, and appropriate procedures for the recreational aspect of unmanned aircraft. And, you know, the FAA gets nibbled on a little bit by people, you know, and people complain and how long it takes and how long this process is. And it is a very arduous, long, and tedious process, somewhat by design and somewhat by necessity. But I got to tell you, what drives this is really the people behind the scenes, the people that are doing the work, that are just average citizens like you and me that are trying to accomplish the task and make a difference. And I got to tell you that from my personal perspective and dealing with a lot of people within the FAA, I can't thank Mr. Jim Williams, the Executive Manager of the UAS Integration Office, enough for his efforts to make this happen, not just for the recreational model aircraft community, but to make this happen for the entire industry. I mean, he has a lot of challenges. You know, it's a situation where you're being pressured on both sides of the fence, pressured from the bureaucratic structure on one side, pressured from the community on another side, and pressured from several other stakeholders that are affected by this activity. But Jim, I got to thank you for the great work you're doing and how refreshing it has been to work with your staff in moving to where we are today. And where we are today is one of the major steps in fully enacting the public law that was enacted by Congress in 2012, the FAA Reauthorization Act, or the FAA Modernization Reform Act of 2012. And within that act, which is now Public Law 11295, there's an entire section on model aircraft, Section 336, titled the Special Rule for Model Aircraft. And this particular segment sets aside some allowances for model aircraft to continue to operate within the guidelines of a community-based organization. It allows for an ongoing and informal relationship between the FAA and a community-based organization like AMA. And today we're taking that first, if you will, formal step towards establishing that relationship and spelling out the methodology and the platform by which we will continue to work in the future to make sure that recreational UAS model aircraft continue to operate safely and effectively and enjoyably in the national airspace. So it's my extreme pleasure to introduce the President, Bob Brown, of the Academy of Aeronautics, and Mr. Jim Williams, the Executive Manager of the UAS Integration Office for the FAA. Bob?
Rich, I don't have a lot to say other than I echo your statements about the cooperation Jim has put forth from the FAA. I have not worked as long as Rich or a couple of the other guys on the team. However, I've seen the efforts that Jim has produced within his office. Jim, I thank you very much.
And I would just like to say that you're welcome, both of you. Thank you for those very kind words. I learned a long time ago that safety in aviation starts with the individual operating the controls, and that, you know, there's no way that a regulator is going to make things safe. It's all of you who make the system safe by your actions. And AMA's efforts to create a association of folks dedicated to not only having fun but doing it safely is why we're here today. And that the government working with associations like the Academy of Model Aeronautics is what helps make our country great and the system that we work in great. So I'm just proud to be here and proud to sign this document on behalf of the FAA.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's all yours. Congratulations, and congratulations to all of you.